Welcome to PNW Prop Stars, the only Seahawks-only gambling show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. This is, of course, part of the Seahawkers Podcast Network. 5 shows each and every week, by 12s, 412s, focused on the Seahawks. Folks, hit the likes, hit the subscribes. Go to getintheflock.com if you want to become a member of the Seahawkers podcast community. You ought to. It's good for the Hawrka. Boys, what's also good for the Hawrka is going to 6-3. Not so good for the Hawrka is Adam missing last week, but he's back, which means it's good for the Hawrka. Adam is back. Adam, let's tell the people, how is your roof? How is your roof doing? Are you protected from the snow flying in Montana? Because it's coming, dude.
We are now protected from the elements. That is good. I'm very excited about that. We'll see. I felt like we were after I repaired this last time. So we'll see if I did a better job. I'm not a professional roofer, just a professional homeowner. So just doing the best that I can. But it was a good weekend for me, though, even though I missed it. I missed the show so that I wouldn't have to embarrass you with my picks when I gave them to you. And when we talk about them now, as I mop the floor with you guys this week.
Yeah, Adam, how cold is it in there, man? You appear to be evaporating.
No. It's 20 outside, but I got my little heater down here, and I'm actually quite toasty. But I'm fine.
You can't cheat it. That is what it is. From a hobo shack in Montana, right? So this is a reason. YouTube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Yes, listen, if you got this in your ears, then it's in your hearts, and we love you for that. However, look, get over to YouTube and check this one out while you're there. Subscribe and like. You just see Adam sitting there. He's got the hat. He's just emanating, it's coming off him because it looks so damn cold. However, you did hear Wilson there. Wilson, you're sitting in Princeton right now in New Jersey. You just told us beforehand, Adam and I, that you've got some plans for Thanksgiving. You're going back home, but what else is happening? What else should people know about?
Well, if you been a longtime fan of the show, you might know that I actually live in Niners country, unfortunately.
Yeah. Burns, yes.
We're getting out of there on Thursday for the Thanksgiving game and heading up to Seattle for one night to go to the game. Haven't been up since 2019, so really looking forward to it.
That is tremendous. What a great family trip. Is the whole family Seahawks fans, or are there some people that just think
all Seahawks fans?
Wow. So they raised you right. You right. Very good job by the parents' con there. Very nicely done. All right. So also good job. I don't have the graphic today. That's a-okay. I will say this. Wilson and I, we struck out once again. The mighty Casey sometimes does strike out. I was a hair away from, which is the way gambling goes, really, really close to a couple of bets hitting. It really came down for me to Seattle getting 6s and not 3s, and then I would have been in the money a couple times over. That's the way the cookie crumbles. With that, Adam is back. Even though he wasn't on the show, he did send us his picks. It's legit. I got the text message to prove it. He did go 2 out of 3 on the regular bets. He is the PNW Prop Star champion. Adam, give the viewers a little bit of a recap, a little taste. What'd you send in? A little taste. What'd you hit? And which ones do you want to boast about?
So my first down bet was first Seahawks drive would be a touchdown. That was plus 240. And thanks a lot to Geno Smith for having a delay a game on 4th and 1 on a QB
that's
sneak.
Right.
Because then they ended up settling for 3 rather than keeping their drive going. So that was a bad beat. That would hurt. I was kind of pissed. But I did hit on Draymond over 0.25 on sacks. He had the one sack, so plus 150 on that. And then Kenneth Walker with over 16.5 carries. I think he got up to 19. That was plus 100. And I don't remember my Fail Mary, but I didn't hit it anyway, so who cares? But what I did do is win the week, and so that was awesome.
That is awesome. Hey, loving the Draymond one, right? It was, and we talked about this on the shows all week long. The Draymond part was really cool too, because all of a sudden he was also playing edge, which kind of unlocked some things. I loved it. He was out on the edge. His sack came when he was back in the traditional DT position, back up the middle. That was a pretty cool sack too. A little bit of coverage, but he does bust through 2 dudes to get home. Love seeing that. So, hey, if we got to celebrate your crowning for the week, but it comes with Draymond, our big money free agent, getting home, and that's one of the reasons why, well, Wilson, I'm okay with that. Plus, in a very Belichickian fashion, we're on to the Rams. And Adam is first at the tee box. Bet one. Reminder for the folks, it is a $10 bet. Bet one, bet two, bet three. Take anything you want at any odds. Bet four, we call the Fail Mary, the $1, the Sunday Scratcher, the Sunday Rubber. Has to be plus 1,200 or longer odds to qualify. Adam is up on the tee box. Bet number one. You got the crown. What do you got to lead us out?
All right, for first down, it's a little bit of a safety here. I've got a little parlay, a little cutesy parlay here for you, boys. It's Seahawks getting 7.5 points, and Zach Charbonnet to have over 45.5 rushing and receiving yards combined. So Sharps has had more than that in 3 of his last 4 games. And when he does go over the 45.5, he crushes it. So I like that one. That gets me plus 110, gets me out of the box, and gets one on the board early.
All right, Wilson, thoughts on that little cute parlay from our boy?
Yeah, I looked really closely at a lot of the Charbonnet bets this week. I like where your head's at there.
Interesting. Yeah. It seems to be the way it's going. I mean, Charbonnet has now outsnapped Walker, I think 2 or 3 games in a row. With that, though, a lot of times it is into block, but still he is outsnapping him, and he is the touches are incrementally increasing. And Adam, we talked about, hey, doesn't have to be necessarily zero sum. Doesn't mean Walker's got to go down to 14 to get Sharps to 10. No, it could just be just 4 or 5 more runs in the game and less horizontal stuff. We'll see if that does manifest. We'll see how that goes. Wilson, you're up on bet number 1 yourself. And how are you getting back in the game?
Well, I got to go back to basics here. And based on how last week's went.
Careful, Waldron, careful.
Yeah. Based on how last week's red zone offense performed, I'm riding the Jason Myers wagon here, over 1.5 field goals, plus 100. That might be our number one wagon all season long, taking Myers field goals. Week 1, I think it was the same line, 1.5, and it hit when we played the Rams. Don't remember much else about that game. No need to talk about it.
That was a preseason game anyway. It was just that
didn't exactly.
Count.
So especially these games with the Rams, the divisional games, they just get ugly, and the offense hasn't been really pretty in scoring touchdowns at any point in the season. So you just expect that to get uglier in a divisional game. Plus 100, sure.
Yeah, Adam, I can't fault the logic to say until proven otherwise, will this Seahawks team move the ball but not quite move it far enough twice in the game? It seems like a fairly logical bet. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm still deciding whether or not that's going to be a part of my third down bet, depending on what else you guys have going here throughout the show. But I'm with you guys. We have struggled in the red zone. Myers will probably get his 2 field goals. That's about as easy money as it gets. It's a great way to get on the board early.
Yeah, I think so as well. All right, I am up on first down. You will catch a theme. I won't reveal. Well, I will reveal the theme, but it will be peeled back slowly, Major League style, when they're peeling the little pieces off the owner there. You'll catch on pretty quickly, though. My first down bet, I liked what I saw from. I like the usage of DK Metcalf last week. Not the fact that he got 11 targets. That's cool. I like the fact that it was slants. It was things over the middle, even a little bubble screen on 3rd and 2 on that very first drive you were talking about, Adam, for an easy conversion. So I've got DK over 4.5 receptions. You got to pay a little bit to get to minus 130. I don't see the targets moving, right? I see him getting 9 to 10 to 11 to 12 targets. So do I think somewhere in those targets, especially if we're going a little bit simpler, 3-step drop, get it to DK on a slant, can he get to just 5 or over receptions? I'm betting yes. I'm betting DK minus 130 over 4.5 receptions. Let's see. Wilson, what do you think of that, dude?
I also really like that bet. I'm going with some DK stuff later on. I really liked what I saw, how they involved him last week, what I thought was either his first or second best game of the season so far. So
I liked it a lot too. Adam, any quick reaction to, do you think DK just gets that volume?
Yeah, you would think so. He's been targeted a lot the last couple of games. And look, I had a hard time deciding which receiver to kind of roll with for this game, because I do feel like with that bad secondary that Gino's going to have himself a day. I think this is going to be a redemption week for him. So You pick a receiver and roll with it. That's a low number for DK. I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, and I hope in general we can. I hope Gino has that kind of a day. I still have the I'm a little jaded with what McVay can sometimes do to our Seahawks to just make us a little bit twixt, and we shall see if we come out of that. We are the better team this year. We are a better roster. We're a better team. McVay's off a bye week, and he's crafty. He is what he is. So we shall see how we handle that. Wilson, let's see how you handle second down. What do you got?
Well, I don't know if you guys have been catching some articles in the national media this week about the Seahawks, and a lot of them have been focusing on Boye Mafe. 7 games in a row with the sack. I was pleased to see that they're offering plus odds for him to go over a quarter sack this week.
Wow.
So it's Boye Mafe plus 110 to get over a quarter sack. Continue that streak. I think the NFL record is, I want to say it's 10 or 11. It's Chris Jones has the record. Yeah. So keep going, Boye. We want you to get closer to that record. And
dude,
7 weeks in a row.
Amazing.
Why not 8?
Why not 8? It is 11. It is Chris Jones. You nailed that. And I think the other side of that is, I think Javon Curse is the only dude I think who has 8, I believe, in the first 2 years. I think is and the dude was called the Freak. So that's okay. Yeah, Mafe's jump, let's call it what it is. And it's not just like, it's not coverage sacks, guys. It's not like, okay, the quarterback's got the ball for 6 seconds and he gets a cleanup sack. Yeah, you're going to get some of those. Go look at the Seahawks Twitter handle, put out like a little cut up of his 7 sacks. He's just getting there. He is just getting home, and he's deflecting balls. He's chasing Lamar from the back. He's primed for a multi-sack game at some point. Maybe not this one, but at a quarter to get plus money. Does the streak continue, Adam? What do you think?
This bet looked awful tasty to me as well, but Wilson, you mentioned it. The national media is now on the Boye Mafe story, and they've been talking about it, and that scared me off. I was like, "Oh no!" The second they're going to start, giving us our props here and Boye Mafe his flowers, it's all going to come crashing down. So that's the only reason I stayed away from it. I think it's a solid idea.
Yeah, I'll be celebrating the entire collection if and when Mafe does get a full sack. Let's go with that. That's awesome. All right, I dig it. All right, here's the theme again. You'll pick it up because you guys are both smart. DK Metcalf, over 61.5 yards receiving at minus 115. If I'm going to take if I think he's getting 5 or more receptions, I start doing some mental gymnastics. All right, do I think he's getting 12.5 yards essentially per reception? Yeah, he's DK Metcalf. Plus, I think he's going to get like 8 receptions. So DK, just to beat his line, over 61.5, paying a little bit. I think, as you guys could probably net out by now, I think it's a DK day. He's eaten on the Rams before, even when Ramsey was there. Ramsey ain't there, and someone's got to eat, and DK gets the volume. So going DK, having his way. Adam, what do you think of my double dip?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go big, or if you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly. Isn't that your little phrase there? So
it is.
Yeah,
it's yours now too.
If you're big in on DK this week, then I can see you doubling down here.
Yeah, very nice. All right, how about you, Wilson? Are you feeling a DK day? I mean, you were there in the stadium when I think it was the Seahawks playoff game against the Niners where DK went off in the first half. We won't talk about the second half. So you've seen it live. You've seen when DK starts to take over games in person. What do you think? Is DK up for a big day?
Yeah, especially. I mean, part of the performance for him against the Rams in the past was just kind of getting egged on by Ramsey, getting a little off and just beating him. The good news is he doesn't have to do that because Ramsey's not on the team anymore, and I don't think there's really a corner that's remotely as good as him on the team. So I like Metcalf to go off in this game, like I was saying.
Nice. All right, Adam, you are on second down. What do you got?
All right. I find it easier to bet on the defense because I believe more in the defense's consistency than I do the offenses. Jamal Adams has done me right all season here, and Jamal Adams over 3.5 solo tackles. He's only not gotten there twice, and once was the first game that he came back and he got the concussion and didn't finish the game. So he's been consistently over that mark, game in, game out. That gets me plus 135.
I mean, hot damn, plus 135 for something like that. 3 4 tackles for a dude who just he's around the ball all game long. They use him as a linebacker at points, basically, right? So, yeah, I hate to say I love it, but I'll say it. I love it. Wilson, what do you got? What do you think?
Well, I'm always curious because I saw this line and I wonder why.
Right.
That's a huge number for 3.5. He's hitting it fairly consistently. I wonder if Vegas is actually hedging that he actually just gets hurt so much that he might not finish the game.
It's the only thing I could think of because they play so many crossers and stuff, the Rams, that he's going to be involved big time throughout this game as long as he's on the field. But that was the only thing I could figure is that they were baking in the health stuff.
Yeah, where you were worried about the national media jinxing Mafe, I'm worried about jinxing Adams' health by taking any tackles bets on him. But assuming he stays healthy, I like where your head's at there.
Yeah, that was my first thought. I just wasn't, bold enough to say it. So, but I dig it. All right. So we are now on to third down. That means it is me. And this is the DK Have It Your Way show, boys and girls, ripping a page from Wilson, because why not? The boy Prince continues to rack up W's. I'm going with a little bonbon 300 of my own. DK Metcalf to get in the end zone. And I'm going to parlay that with our Seattle Seahawks getting the W. So I'm the chips are in, as you know, at this point. So either I'm winning, and I think I'm winning pretty big, plus 300 on the nose for that one, or I go down in flames, and what else is new for some of my bets? So DK touchdown, Seahawks win, plus 300. I wanted to dial up the spice on third down, so I did it. Adam, what do you think? Is DK getting in the end zone this game?
The touchdown scoring is so random to me that I just stay away from those bets as a whole. But
the
Seahawks to win, I like that a lot because, look, man, you said it earlier, Clinton. This is the better football team. The Seahawks are a better football team. The odds up and down, all the bets reflect that. Vegas believes it. They believe that Geno Smith is a better quarterback. They think that it's going to be more unlikely that he throws a pick, and they think Matt Stafford is more likely to throw a pick. Again, you just go through the odds of all of the different things throughout the bets, and the Seahawks are favored in pretty much every way. I see them winning this game, and I'm actually thinking that they're going to win this game big because, you kind of get those flip-flops in these divisional games, and after that week 1 debacle, I think this is a revenge game for the Seahawks.
It is a revenge game. I'm just so apprehensive with what McVay has been able to do. Like, his record is what it is against Carroll. And that wasn't always when the Rams were just at a superior team. In the McVay era, they have had good teams, but it wasn't always a better squad. And he's 9-5, I think, against Carroll at this point. So pretty tilted in his favor. All right. That's A-okay. We are back to the top though. It is third down. We know we think we know it's at least a Wilson 300. Wilson. No, my bad. Adam. Back to the top. That's you, dude. Your third down bet. What do you got?
Well, it is a Wilson 300 because I wanted to go big. I didn't want to be outshined by the youngin there, but I've got a nice little parlay here for you guys. Jackson Smith and Jigma to go over 50 plus receiving yards. Jason Myers to get his 1.5 field goals. And Geno Smith to go over a paltry 225 yards in the air. That gets me to plus 305. JSN, 2 out of his last 3 games, he's been over that mark, and he is really coming on. We see him being integrated into the offense. I think this is going to be another big day for JSN. This may be the breakout game we've all been waiting for.
It's possible. Hey, a lot of things there going on. 3. With that, you get to plus 305. We know the risk there. Vegas is saying, yeah, good luck with that. But Wilson, is there a part? If there was one part you had to pick a part of his trio, there is there one you're going? I don't think this part's quite likely.
I think it's got to be JSN. I don't hate the 50 plus, but that's probably the least likely part of that.
Yeah, it's a big number for him at this point in his career. With that, Adam's throwing out the facts, logic, and reason around, hey, he's hit this recently. He's getting that volume. He looked great early in the game versus the Commanders, right? He was getting the ball super early, and he was one of the reasons we were chugging right along until we had that fourth and 1 delay a game, which was unfortunate. Not unfortunate, though, is Wilson's third down bet, because now I know we're getting a Wilson 300. Is that correct?
You would be correct there. And as I've been hinting at so far, this does involve DK Metcalf quite
let's
heavily.
go. Yes.
After two reasons. One, he had a great performance last week. It seems like, he had the 50-yarder in the Ravens game, but it seemed like he was a little left out there. He gets more involved last week.
Right. Yes.
I like that to continue. I also think the Seahawks are going to target him more heavily in the red zone. Just he's a big body. He's going to have some size advantage on this LA secondary. You got to try something because a lot is not working right now in the red zone for the Seahawks. He's the big target we have. So yeah, I'm taking him for a touchdown, and I'm parlaying that with over 61.5 receiving yards for DK.
Ooh, okay.
And to get it to 300, I had to throw in a alternate spread. The Seahawks getting 7.5. So I think that's pretty likely.
Okay, interesting. That got you plus 300 on the nose.
330.
330. Okay. I mean, hey, you took two of the bets that I have out there, or parts of them, so I can't argue with those. And getting 7.5 is that was part of Adam's bet, right? So you guys, kind of funny, you guys both found a parlay to groove onto to get 7.5 and throttle it your way. Before we get to the Fail Marys there, we got a lot of love in DK on this side of the court here, Adam. I know we're talking about it, like, hey, you might as well place your chips on somebody and go for it. If not DK, do you think you have a bet out there with JSN, but if it's not DK, is it JSN for you? Is it simply the dude who does it every single week, essentially Tyler Lockett? If not DK, then who?
I love the idea of betting on Tyler this week, but I couldn't find a bet that had any kind of odds that I liked regarding Tyler's production. And so that's the only reason I didn't go that way. But I believe big in one particular player this week, Clinton, and that's going to be reflected in my Fail Mary. It is not DK, though.
Okay, well, you know what? You are up because we are back to the top. That means it is yours again. Hole 4, Fail Mary, $1 Sunday rubber, plus 1,200 odds or longer. Who are you betting big on? Who is this mysterious player?
All right. It is Geno Smith, because you know what? I have been defending Geno for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I think he played a hell of a game last week when you really go back and look at it. I think that this is the type of game that he can come out and shut everybody up, prove the doubters wrong, and get a big win, and especially against an inferior freaking football team. So I'm going to put my proverbial fake money where my real mouth is, and I'm going with to have over 300 passing yards. The Seahawks giving 6.5 points, so minus 6.5, and the Seahawks to be the first to score a TD.
Nice.
And that is
Very
plus
nice.
1,300.
Plus 1,300. Hey, we got to compile to get to those big numbers. And hey, Geno, 369 last week. And the reasons we think we got, well, I think he got there was because of the yak. You don't get to 369 last week without the yak. Will the yak be back to get you over 300? And if so, that means I'm getting what I want. I'm getting short receptions to DK where he can run the ball. Adam, you're getting what you want. Touches to JSN that have yak potential. And of course, Wilson's leaning into DK as it is too. So if we're throttling plus 300, well, then I think we're getting a lot of yak, and I think we're all going to eat. So I kind of dig that. All right, Wilson, Fail Mary for you. What you got?
Well, I couldn't cook up any parlay on my own that was really enticing to me, and there was no single, first touchdown type of bet that was just going to get over 1,200 on its own. So I took one of the ones that DraftKings cooks up for you. A little lazy today, so it's just four different touchdown scorers: Cooper Kupp, Metcalf, K9, and Darrell Henderson.
Okay,
all of them to score. That's plus 1,900.
Okay, I mean, hey, that is there. Obviously, a long shot, but it is a long shot because just by its nature. The Rams running attack, if you will, they miss Kyron Williams. He's a better back. To me, Henderson is like the definition of a jag, but it doesn't matter. They get down to the 2-yard line and they're moving the ball. Who cares, right? It just doesn't matter. I think Gus Edwards is a good NFL back. Scored 2 last night. He's got, I think, 8 on the season now. They get within the 5. They give the ball
for no reason. You just give him the ball.
He's
not even the best back on the team, in my opinion.
He's the best back on my fantasy team. So in terms of the best back on the Ravens on my fantasy team. So I definitely enjoy eating on the Gus bus a couple times a game. So why not? Plus 1900. There's a lot that's got to happen. That does pitch to probably an over for the game overall for getting to 4 touchdowns. But hey, you got the stars all aligned there, so we'll see what happens. Boys, if you're going to go for the inside straight, you might as well go pot commit and go in. So I had DK first down, DK second down, DK third down. So let's without further ado, DK Metcalf. Now I wanted 2 touchdowns. That's what I wanted. I'm like, let me go check this out. It was plus 1100. Well, that don't fly. It just don't qualify. It is what it is. So DK Metcalf, 3 touchdowns, plus 5,000. So I'm going to turn that $1 into 50 American dollars, because why not? Why not DK all day? Have it our way. 3 touchdowns from the big guy, and we're all just celebrating with a Seahawks victory. So, all right, dudes, that is a lot of fun. And as we get ready, so Wilson, we're ready to talk that you're going to be heading home back to Cali, and then you got your Thanksgiving Day. So when do you guys leave? Do you leave Wednesday to travel up for Thursday for Thanksgiving? How does that work out?
No, we're gonna head up Thursday morning. My family's not we don't have a lot of extended family that lives nearby, so we're not big on the huge Thanksgiving feast. So I'm sure we'll just have a nice meal when we get there, and then head out for the game and come back Friday morning.
That was gonna be my next question. It's well, then what do you do for the actual Thanksgiving dinner? And it sounds like you'll be chowing down in the just outside Lumen, enjoying yourselves there. So which is super sweet. All right, Adam, how about yourself as you get ready for this Sunday? Any special plans? The roof is done. Anything you got to do this weekend besides cheer on our Seahawks to a victory?
Firewood, 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 buddy. That's the off-grid mantra right there. So we'll just be doing a lot of that. And I have a special little surprise for everybody Sunday after the game here on the post-game recap of some new stuff Brittany and I have been endeavoring to do. So stay tuned for that. We'll talk about it at the end of the recap show on Sunday.
Very nice. And a reminder, folks, this is part of the Seahawkers Podcast Network. We don't ask much, but what we do ask is important, and it really does help out. YouTube.com/Seahawkers Podcast. Go subscribe, go like, get it in your podcast feed. I'd say most importantly, go tell 1212s, raise this whole thing up. And if you're really enjoying it, the value for value, Adam, what can folks do if they're really getting the value from us?
You could just take your little index finger there, and whether that's on your screen or with your mouse, and just go up there and you go clicky-click on the sub, you go clicky-click on the like, go clicky-click on the bell. And you should just go clicky-click on give us money too. Do that. That'd be cool. And if you do all that, we'd appreciate it if you think that this nonsense is worth something.
Right. Getintheflock.com if you want to do it on a monthly or yearly commit. The super thanks on YouTube are always great. I mean, folks, you could see Adam is freezing. Adam has to go chop firewood. Help the guy out. Help him, get him a chainsaw.
Freezing. I'm plenty warm. I just didn't start the fire in here because it takes 2 hours for the place to warm up, and you guys like to do this at the butt crack of freaking dawn.
And sometimes you show up. So all right, so
that is fair. I will take all the slings and arrows for being an catfish last week. I will. That's fine.
All right, awesome. Speaking of keeping warm, my butt's getting on a plane on Sunday morning. Don't worry, I'll be watching the game from YouTube from my place in Florida, but I'm heading down to Florida. I'm staying there for Thanksgiving, so I'll be in Siesta Key, Florida for the Rams game. I'll be in Siesta Key, Florida Thursday for the Seahawks game. So, boys, we got not only the best amazing holiday, but we got 2 Seahawks games bundled in the next 5 days, basically 6 days. Let's enjoy that. Let the holiday season begin and bring happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to the entire flock. And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. There's only one thing left to say. I unfroze just in time.
Go Hawks.
Let me do it again. I'll just cut it.